On November 6th, we went back to the river again. And while I was on the bus going to church, they dosed us with marijuana again. So they have all this marijuana in the bus, and I begin to say, I cast you down, devil, or something in there. So the person who was driving was a pastor, and they begin to pray and pray in the Holy Ghost. After they begin to pray into the Holy Ghost, the demons get off the bus. But he leave like a string of attachment to follow me all the way to church. And every time he stopped to pick up somebody, then it will come back to me. And we went to church, and after we went to church, I have a good time again. But on the way back, there was such marijuana smell on the bus. See a man, and they're trying to make me think the man smoked marijuana that go to the church. Medical marijuana, because that's what they were saying, and I medical marijuana. So anyway, we come home, but when we come home, everybody in the neighborhood house is in the dark. We did have our lights turned on. So Caitlin and I come in. On the Wednesday, we went back to Wednesday. We went back to the river either the Wednesday or the Thursday, and the same week. And we have different drivers this time. It was some guy that sell real estate. He the one drive the bus this time. He drove me before, but recalling him picking us up and take us to church. After we went to church, everything been okay. And when we come back home, we come back in. But they have something planned for us for the next day. The next day, which it was Thursday, the next day was Friday. Caitlin and I were in here, and while we were in the house, my neighbor come home early, and she stand and she open her door, and she have a bunch of people over by her house. Our windows were open, and the demons comes in. When the demons comes in from over our house, it was like they tried to take me overpower me. So I called Andrew Womack Ministry, tried to tell them what was going on. After I speak to the lady in Andrew Womack Ministry, she prayed for me and gave me Psalm 91 to stand on and John 8:31-32. Okay? I prayed with her, she prayed with me, but after she get off the phone, there's still a little eerie feeling. So I take out the Bible and try to stand on the Bible with Psalms 91. When I stand on the Bible, I feel like the Bible uptaking me, which I'm not sure, maybe could have been something that they using on me to let me believe that way. I'm not sure. So that whole Friday, when my neighbor family come home, they party again. And they party. And while they party, Caitlin and I in here, we're not saying anything, but they seems like they defeat us. Saturday morning, my daughter's supposed to take me to the grocery store. So I thought she was going to take her kids, but she didn't take the kids, so she showed up early. After she showed up early and we were here, we talk. Then there comes this big fear in the house. This fear from the night before. Let us believe in that fallen angels in here, God and angels and fallen angels gonna clash. All this big fear. So anyway, what they were trying to do is put fear inside of me that it escalate. The fear got so escalate because when it get escalate, they're trying to get me to say things that I'm not supposed to say. So it uptake with the fear, and my daughter, tell my daughter to go home, but she wouldn't go home. So after she wouldn't go home, I told her to let's go, close the door and lock it, and God will take care of the house while we leave. Only that I have this thing planted in my head to say, today I'm going to get a new house or something. And it wasn't so. The call that we received in my phone was on the same guy, Real Estate 911, called me to find out if I was going to church. When I get to Wawa, because I opened the phone, I saw it. I said, okay, don't do anything until we get to Wawa. When I get to Wawa, I have to pee. But when I get out of the car to go pee in Wawa, just as we get out, I was trying to run into Wawa store, they dose me and Caitlin again with high level of marijuana. It was so high, push it out like they push it up my nose. So I get back, I turn around, I didn't go in the bathroom to go pee no more. Again, in the car. And when I get into the car, because it was so much, I kind of like out of it. So I tell Kay to take me home, and then she go home, because it becomes a confusion between Kay and Kay in-laws and me. So Caitlin and I at home, we're alone. Kay decided to come back to bring back food for us, because since we didn't get to go to the grocery store, she come back, decided to bring food for us. Only that when she come back, I wasn't worried about the food. I tell her, let's go back where we started, because I'm trying to retrace what happened and why it happened. So we went to Wawa, but we didn't went to the spot that we were parking that morning. Kay scared and continued to be scared. I didn't want to stay in this house anymore with the fear that is escalating on me and Caitlin, because it wasn't just me, it's me and Caitlin. So I asked Kay, can we spend the night at her house? But Kay said no. Told her to take me to the river. After we went there, we get into Wawa parking lot. She looked up the river and she said, Ma, the river closed. I said to her, it's closed, but maybe people may be there. And she said, no, she don't think so. So anyway, we've been like back and forth. And I was trying to think about where can I run to if you have the highest level of fear and demon chasing you. Where would you run to? So church pops in my head, but none of the churches that they say, because at first I want to go to Catholic, or like go check in a Catholic, no. Then the small churches, them, no. So I have no options. I just sitting down into the car and Kate talking to her brother on the phone. While she was talking to her brother on the phone, I'm like, something pops in my head and say, call Andrew Wama Ministry. So I call the ministry, a woman answered. I asked her, I said, if you have the highest level of fear and demons chasing you, where would you run to? She said, I would run to God. So still with intoxicated, I think I'm still intoxicated from all the stuff that they gave to me. I asked her, I said, where would you run to God? Because God, sometimes you find him in the church, sometimes you find him on the street, sometimes you find him anywhere, but At that time, I couldn't think where to find God. I'm just circling around in my head. So she said, you run to God in His words. So I began to think, how can you run to God in your words? So she said, ma'am, I need to pray for you. And I began to tell her, and I tell her all the stuff that's going on. And she listened to the conversation. After she listened to the conversation, she said she's going to pray, and I tell her to pray for my whole family. When she prayed for the whole family, stand on Psalms 46, I think, John 8, 31, 32, and we stand on it together. Fear broke. I didn't have no more fear in the car. I felt freedom too in the car. So I decided, okay, all that stuff, because she prayed and everything, to come back home. But when we come back home, fear rekindled back in the house. I don't know why, but fear rekindled back in the house. Caitlin eat, and Caitlin give me something to eat, and both of us eat. Then we decide not to do anything, just lay down, okay? And while we lay down, my neighbor family, they start out, I think they start partying like about 6 o'clock. And they party all night long while Caitlin and I in the dark. We didn't turn on no light or anything. So they party as about, I think it was about 11:30 or so. There was something that was in the house trying to scare me. A big bat into the ceiling with one eye looking down at me. So I hold Caitlin's hand and I look at it until like 11:30 it disappeared. After it disappeared, we turned the light on outside. That was like 11:30. And Caitlin and I still band together and we went back to sleep. Everything was okay. The next day, which is Sunday morning, we got up again, but we didn't dismiss Pastor Rodney. So since we didn't dismiss Pastor Rodney, they pick it up again to dose us back again with demons.